Okay, I'm going to do I'm going to show three decks at the same time. These are all decks put out by Lo Scarabeo. They've been put out in the last few years. This is the most recent, the Edmund Dulac. The first one I got was the John Bauer. That was about 2 years ago, maybe. And then shortly after that came out, maybe 6 months later, the Rackham Tarot came out. And then lastly, just recently, the Dulac Tarot came out, the Edmund Dulac Tarot. Now, these are all decks from Lo Scarabeo, and they're all Illustrator decks from the early 1900s. The illustrator is the name of the person, Arthur Rackham, Edmund Dulac, and John Bauer. So they all did illustrations. It was the golden era of illustrators, like from the 1850s to 1920. And so these are decks that weren't made for the tarot, but they were put in a tarot format by Lo Scarabeo, and they've done a beautiful job. So I just wanted to show you the decks together to see if you're interested in buying any of them. I think they're beautiful, and I have my own opinions about them. I use this for storytelling. I think this is the most recent deck. I think is a really beautiful deck, and the Rackham deck, of course, is a beautiful nature drawings kind of. You'll see what I mean. So these are not the traditional tarot decks that you would find, not Rider-Waite-Smith, although there's some similar cards, but for the most part, these are not decks to start out with, but they're just beautiful decks. So I wanted to start out with them, to show them side by side. I think they're all in the viewfinder. So we're going to start with these. And the first thing I want to show you is, I think, how will I do this? I think I'll show you the backs of the decks. So we have them like that. I don't know if this is the way to show them. There's really no need. You'll figure out what they are. I'll remind you what they are. So the deck, this is the John Bauer. That's the back. Beautiful. These are all just beautiful decks. The Arthur Rackham deck and the Edmund Dulac deck. So these are the backs. Two are reversible. One is not reversible, if that's important to you. And so let's get started. I'm not going to say too much. I'm just going to show you the cards. They're all in order, so you'll be able to look at the cards and compare. They're all sort of this. Lo Scarabeo kind of got away from putting all those different languages in, and they're essentially borderless. I mean, they do have the top and the bottom, but the nice thing about them is they're nice size. They're sort of a matte finish. They're very nice cardstock, and they're very clearly numbered, and so you know the number and you know the suit pretty well, which is really nice. So here we go. We're ready for it, and let's do this. Again, this is John Bauer, the Arthur Rackham, and the Fool of the Edmund Dulac. The Magician. As you see, they're not necessarily traditional. Let's move these down here, I think. Might be better to see the backs. John Bauer. Arthur Rackham. Edmund Dulac. These are the High Priestess. No, the Empress. The Emperor. The Hierophant. It seemed to me the ones that fit the best with the tarot is the Dulac. But that's my opinion. I don't know. The Lover's card is very loversy. The Lover's card. Each one looks very loversly. Is that a word? Apparently it is. I made it so. The Chariot. We have Strength as number 8. These are all beautiful cards. They did a beautiful job with the Strength card. The Hermit. John Bauer. John Bauer is a little bit more whimsical. The Wheel of Fortune. Justice. Very different from the Rider-Waite-Smith, the Justice card. The Hangman, again, is very different than Rider-Waite-Smith, and very different from each other. The Death card. You notice again, John Bauer seems to be the most different than Rider-Waite-Smith. Temperance. Again, very different than the Rider-Waite-Smith in all the decks. Although the Edmund Dulac has a little bit more to do with Rider-Waite-Smith. The Devil card. The Tower. The Star. Yeah, very similar there. John Bauer, Arthur Rackham, and the Edmund Dulac. The Moon card. All quite beautiful. And then we have the Sun card. Judgment. And the World card. You see, very different with the John Bauer. This is probably the most traditional, but that's also very traditional. Okay, so there we have it. There's the major arcanas of the 3 decks. Put these aside for now. And let's go into the minors. We'll start with the wand suit. Again, we have the numbers very clearly on top, and we have the icon on the bottom very clearly marked as well. So that's really nice. So even though the decks and the cards you may have trouble wondering what this is. I mean, if you were to cut off the borders, I think, it'd be hard to figure out what some of these cards are. But they're very clearly named or shown. So this is the Ace of Wands. Here we get into the nature aspect of the Arthur Rackham. The Two of Wands. The Three of Wands. As you see, they're very different than the Three of Wands Definitely different. This is sort of reminiscent of the Rider-Waite-Smith, as well as this is. The Four of Wands. The Five of Wands. The Six of Wands. Seven of Wands. The Eight of Wands. I think all of these decks would be beautiful to use, you do for a reading. They're just beautiful. The Nine of Wands. Again, not traditional. John Bauer is not traditional, terribly traditional. And finally, the Ten of Wands. The Dulac seems to be the most traditional with this Ten of Wands. Then we have your court cards. These are the pages. It's a young page here. This is a page and another page. The Knight are all on horses. They have this icon. The Queens of Wands. And finally, the King of Wands. You see, they are all different. We're going on now to the Cup suit. Again, this is the John Bauer, this is the Arthur Rackham, and this is the Edmund Dulac. Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups. Two of Cups. The Three of Cups. The Four of Cups. The Five of Cups. The Six of Cups. Seven of Cups. The Eight of Cups. All of these decks have a lot to pull from if you are reading intuitively. The pictures are very intricate, and so there's a lot to look at, a lot to use in a reading if you do read intuitively. And these are intuitive decks, I would say. The Nine of Cups. And Ten of Cups. Apparently the dog is very thirsty. We have our pages. our knights. Queen of Cups. And I have watery backgrounds. And last but not least, our King of Cups. This is a strange king. It's like a sea creature. And there's another fish-like thing here, too. It's hard to see what's going on with that. Okay, then we have, I'll put these aside so as not to confuse. Okay, so now we're going into our sword suit. Ace of Swords. Two of Swords. John Bauer. Arthur Rackham. And Edmund Dulac. Three of Swords. Four of Swords. Five of Swords. The Six of Swords. Seven of Swords. Eight of Swords. The Nine of Swords. And the Ten of Swords. Now this is interesting. There's a you know a rainbow here. And here we have the sword sort of killing a dragon, and then here we have two people stabbing someone else. So they're very different takes on the Ten of Swords. Here we have our Page of Swords. The Knight of Swords. With this deck, these decks too, the Bauer is a little brighter in coloration. The other two tend to be a little darker, so you need sort of good lighting to see the cards clearly. I'm not sure it's showing up the best way. So this is the Knight of Swords. The Queen of Swords. And the King of Swords. And last but not least, we have the Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, and Three of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles do have a similarity with the Rider-Waite-Smith. All of them do, actually. That's kind of cool. Eight of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles, again, have a similarity with the Rider-Waite-Smith. And the Ten of Pentacles. Again, there is some similarity with the Rider-Waite-Smith in all the three decks. Come across our pages. Our knights. This looks like a pretty active knight. That's with the Arthur Rackham. The queens. The Queen of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles. So there you have it. There's our three decks, Illustrator decks that were made into tarot decks by Lo Scarabeo. They've all been put out in the last couple of years. They're beautiful decks. They're beautiful. I think the cardstock is really good. I think it's excellent cardstock, and they could be. And I think that for your intuitive reader, I don't know if you want to start out with one of these decks because they are not following the Rider-Waite-Smith. But they're beautiful cards, and they're wonderful to collect, and wonderful to use. As I said, I use the John Bauer for storytelling, and so this is how they look. This is the covers, and that is that. Hope you've enjoyed this. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.